watch what I do before we do it, where x equals 2. So now this is my line of reflection right here. Okay? So now I'm just going to reflect this shape right across that line. So just draw the shape exactly as it appears there. Okay? So this would be my reflection. Again, everything is the same distance away from the line of reflection. Let's take a look at when x equals excuse me, when x equals -2. We'll find -2 on the x-axis. It's right here. So I'm going to draw a line there. So again, hopefully you guys have straight edges, so your lines are a little bit neater than mine. But go ahead and see if you can draw the reflection of that shape. Go ahead and hit pause. Okay, so again, make sure that all your points are the same distance away from the line. So let's just take a look here. So here, this point here is 1 space, 2 space. So the reflection is going to be 1 space, 2 space. Here, 1 space, 2 space. 1 space, 2 space. Here, both these points share the line of reflection, so that is okay. That's like when your finger touches the mirror. It's right there up against it. Okay? Now, the same can be said along the y-axis. What happens when y equals -3? Let's find when y equals -3, which is down here. So what you're going to do is take your straight edge and draw a line at y equals -3. And now you're just going to reflect this shape across the y equals -3. Go ahead on your own. Hopefully by now you're catching on to what's happening. So go ahead and hit pause and try this one and the next one. Okay, so you can see here that this green shaped rectangle is the same distance from the line of reflection as this black rectangle is. So take a look at the shape to the right. My line of reflection is y equals 1. And each point is 1 space, 1 space. It's the same distance away, 1 space, 1 space, from the line of reflection, 1, 2, 3. And again, make sure you're perpendicular to the line of reflection. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There you go. All right, now, the last shapes we're going to take a look at here. These guys can get a little crazy, but it's still the same concept. The difference is now we have an overlap. So, again, we're going to take a look at the line of reflection. Well, the line of reflection says across the x-axis. Well, where is the x-axis? The x-axis is right here. So take your straight edge, draw a line on the x-axis. Now, we're just going to be kind of flip-flopping across the x-axis based on these points. So, for example, this point, top of the triangle here. How far away is it? Well, it's 1 space away from the line of reflection. Well, its new point is going to be 1 space away from the line of reflection there. So there you go. That's its reflection. So now take a look at the base of this triangle. Let's take a look at the bottom right. How far away is it? Well, it's 2 spots away from the line of reflection. So that means it's going to be 2 spots up. So put a dot right there. And then the bottom left. How far away is it? 1, 2. So I'm going to go up 1, 2. Put a dot there. And then connect my triangle. Let's try black. So that's its reflection. Now you notice it overlaps, but that's okay because we overlap the line of reflection. So see if you can do this next one on your own. Again, where is the line of symmetry? This time it's across the y-axis. So first thing I always do is just highlight, is just take your straight edge and draw a line straight down the y-intercept. So go ahead and, the y-axis. Go ahead and try to draw the reflection of this shape. Go ahead and hit pause. Okay, so there you can see again we have this overlap, this flip-flop of the shape. Okay, again, the main point here is to make sure that each point is equidistant to the line of reflection. Okay, in this case we do. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and ask for assistance. Okay, now the last thing I want to talk about today is what happens with the ordered pairs. What's going on when we reflect across either the x-axis, the y-axis, and so on. So something, hopefully a pattern, you do notice a pattern when we reflect. So let's take a look at this first example. Here we're reflecting across the x-axis. So again, draw my line of reflection. So now let's go ahead and reflect A, B, and C. So same distance, 2. So it means 2. There's A prime. B, 2 spots away, so I'm going to go 2 spots away. There's B prime. And C, 1, 2, 3. So it means I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. There is my C prime. So now, what is the ordered pair of A prime? Well, I go left 4, down 2. So it's going to be -4, -2. Next. How about my B prime? Well, B prime, I go left 2, down 2. So that's -2, -2. And finally, C prime, I go left 3, down 4. So that is a -3, -4. So, take a look at the ordered pairs. Let's take a look at A to A prime. Notice I had -4, -4. But what happens to my Y value, my Y coordinate? Well, I'm at 2, now I'm at -2. We'll take a look at the B value. B is -2, 2. What happens with B prime? It becomes -2, -2. Finally, -3, 2. -3. Whoa, what happened there? Sorry, that should be a 4. My fault. That should be a 4. From -3, 4 to -3, -4. Okay? So I want you guys to try this next one on your own, and then we'll talk about what's happening, or if any of you do see the pattern. So now we're going to cross the y-axis, reflect across the y-axis. So go ahead and draw that line. And go ahead and draw Z prime, X prime, and Y prime. And put the ordered pairs into its proper spot. Okay, so go ahead and see if your picture matches up with what I have. A big common mistake here is that you guys would flip-flop these X and Y's. Please notice that Y value is the same distance away from the line of reflection as Y prime is. Same with X and X prime. So make sure you don't flip-flop those. Okay, so take a look at the ordered pairs. Make sure that yours match up with mine. So now, do you notice a pattern? What's happening here? Well, hopefully you realize that only one of the ordered pair changes when you do a reflection across the X or Y axis. Okay, so if you take a look when we reflect across the x-axis, what changes? Well, all of the x's stay the same. Well, that's true because look at A and A prime. They're both at x equals -4. Look at C and C prime. They're both at -3. And take a look at B and B prime. They're both at -2. So the x value, let me write this down. You guys should write this down as well. X value stays the same. What happens to the y value? Well, what's happening to it? I went from 2 to -2, 2 to -2, and 4 to -4. Notice the y value goes to its opposite. So this is when you reflect across the x-axis. X stays the same, the y goes to the opposite. Well, take a look when we go across the y-axis. Well, what stays the same? What changes? Well, hopefully you can figure that out. Let's take a look here. What happens to the x value? X value here I'm at -4, now I'm at +4. -2, +2, -3, +3. Well, now the x value goes to opposite. And the y value, what's happening to the y value? Well, y is 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4. Notice y value now stays the same. And again, you can see that. Notice how the y value from Z to Z prime, they both have a y value of 4. X and Y both have a y value of 2. They stay. The difference is their x values go to their opposite. So now, let's see if you can do the following problems without seeing a picture. So I'll do the first one for you. I'm reflecting across the x-axis. Well, that means x stays the same. Stays the same. And y goes to opposite. So my x's are all going to be the same. So it's going to be 3, 2, 4. What happens to my y values? They're all going to go the opposite. -5, -1, -1. So now go ahead and do the next one, but now you're reflecting across the y-axis, so just look up above to see if you're not to get some extra help there. So go ahead and do A prime, B prime, and C prime. Should take you a couple seconds. Go ahead and hit pause. So go ahead and check your answers. Hopefully you notice that the x value now goes to the opposite and the y value does in fact stay the same. Okay? So your homework is on the next several pages. Just a couple things to keep in mind. Make sure you draw your lines of reflection correctly. Just one thing I want to note. This page here, third page into the homework, each question is asking is a true and false question. So read the question, determine whether or not it is a true response or a false response. That's all they're looking on this page. So there are actually 10 questions, 10 true and false questions. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask one of us. Thanks.